So how do we stop that? Well, W.E.R.S. is going to be a legacy capital company, which means that it will look for opportunities like insurance, where we decided not to sell to the private equity people. Instead, we want to turn those dollars that are generating in insurance into dollars that come to W.E.R.S. and dollars that are reinvested in legacy capital, which means we want to try to help more Wyoming business owners sell to Wyoming buyers. And there's a level of capital funding in there that's missing in Wyoming, that the banks can't effectively do their traditional types of loans as it relates to continuity of ownership unless there's a tranche of mezzanine financing or something to firm it up to make it a more bankable loan. That would be one of the things that W.E.R.S. Is attempting to address. So I've got a couple examples, but quick one would be small construction company valued at $1 million. Mom and dad own it. Son and 2 key employees want to buy it. Mom and dad would like $400,000 down. They're willing to finance $600,000. So is that a bankable deal? Well, there's 2 parts when a construction company comes into play. One is banking and one is bonding. And if that contractor does public works, happens to work for a municipality or build a building that's a school or something like that, they have to have a bond, which means that, much like banking, when you structure a transaction, if you're not careful, you can destroy the bonding of that company, which destroys the market it's able to generate revenues with. Therefore, the whole structure falls apart. So in that example, W.E.R.S. could provide probably mezzanine financing of $200,000 down. There's $200,000 of assets in the corporation that could be utilized for a conventional bank loan that would provide the $400,000 down payment that mom and dad would need. The bank's going to want to be in first position, which means that W.E.R.S. would be subordinating their debt to the bank. We'd kind of be the first money in and the last money out. But it would be affordable structurally to make the entire structure work as long as you keep the goose golden or laying golden eggs. And the goose is the company that you're transitioning. If mom and dad want the kids to have it or the employees to have it and they're willing to help, then this is the missing ingredient to making that something that can actually happen. In lieu of this happening, mom and dad either have to liquidate the company because they're aging out and all the jobs are lost and people have to go to other people to go to work, or they sell to some other buyer in Wyoming, of which there aren't many that can walk in with $1 million cash that want to play in the construction business, because it's a risky business. Got $1 million cash, you're probably better off to do something more conservative with it. So that's an example of one place that W.E.R.S. can play. The other examples that I'll go to, and we want to own companies in Wyoming that don't compete with companies that we regularly insure. Okay, we do a lot of contractors in Wyoming, they're surety and insurance. I don't want to be in the construction business, but I wouldn't mind helping those companies that want to move ownership to Wyoming buyers, helping them do that. And I don't think that's competing with the other companies, because they too at some point are going to need that capital to change ownership. So we're not really competing with any directly. We don't have an equity stake. We're not tied to their profitability. It's just a tranche to help them stay in business so that they can transfer ownership rather than liquidating or selling to an out-of-state buyer. So if we can, in some instances, own 100% of it, which we do insurance, which makes sense because it channels a lot of cash flow back into the Wyoming economy, and it's a choice that people can make to not pay any more to have the same product and channel money back into the Wyoming economy. It's a great choice because it doesn't cost you any more. Properties is 100% owned, and properties is important because most businesses have a piece of real estate tied to it. So if they're going to sell, or the people that are buying want the real estate also, there's a place that properties can do some creative things to maybe buy the real estate while the people are paying off the business loan and then agree to sell it to them down the road. But there's usually a piece of real estate tied to any business that we're talking about, so properties plays an important role. Mountain West Communications is in the fiber, internet, data storage, um, anything and everything technology oriented, if you will. And we have WE.R.C.S owns about 30% of them. It was actually a WE.R.C.S company when it was created called W.E.R.C.S Communications, and we spun it off to the employees who've done a great job of taking it to the next level and now need a little more capital to again take it to the level above that. So by year end, we anticipate it's a company we will have 100% ownership in. And again, it's a target market for virtually everybody in the state. It's a big priority for the state to make sure that we have decent speed internet to everybody in Wyoming, rural or otherwise. And it's an opportunity for Wyoming to build a true technology company with Wyoming ownership and Wyoming employees if they should choose to want to focus some of that through Wyoming companies, particularly Mountain West. There are others out there. But it's a fractured industry. There's a lot of internet providers around the state. Every little town seems to have one. So there's some opportunity to aggregate. All of them need more backbone and speed, and that's what Mountain West provides. So there's a real opportunity to invest in Wyoming. This will be our growth company. We'll go sell internet, and people pay $100 a month or $500 a month, whatever it happens to be. The big market here in Wyoming hasn't seen it yet, and that's really in the server in the cloud. Barry, everybody got a server in their closet. Well, if you can take them out of the closet, put them in the cloud, and they save money, or in their mind at least it's much more efficient, which obviously it is, then that's a big market that nobody's really brought the product to Wyoming yet.